Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, my name is Brandon. I am the founder of the Rags Riches community. In fact, I am the CEO, CFO, COO, Supreme Ayatollah, all the O's. And here you are, wasting yet another day with me. I don't know why you do it. Hex Hodl, these are a waste of time. Thank you for pointing out the obvious. Guys, if you haven't figured it out, here's my buddy, Bruno. He's going to be hanging out with us for a while. Probably months, if not years. Let's see what happens here. Put your efforts somewhere more useful, like digging a hole or making a cheeseburger. I like that. Floriameus, maybe in the future. My prediction is mid-June. Interesting. Maybe 2 more weeks, and 2 more weeks after that. And by the end of the month, and over the hill and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Is that how that goes? Maybe delay 1 more year. Could be. How's it make you feeling? You guys freaking out? You worried about it? Is Babylon burning right now, facing reality? Yes, don't rush. Crypto heartbeat rags.io. Uh-oh. Let's check that. Is that a thing? Rags.io? Uh-oh. Could it be? It's for sale. Buy now, $9,888, or lease to own, $215 a month. Negative Ghost Rider. Give us the lowdown, he says. Hex on air, rags, pray, pee into bed, but who empties the pot? What? I don't even know how to respond to that, honestly. Headphones on max, volume, and intro. Good afternoon, rags. Here to waste again. Waste some time to see. Yeah, MJ Money, wasting that time. Shaboom, LFG321. Man, we got some people showing up. I put some funny stuff in that description, man. You guys show up in droves. Oh, that's a pretty cool, that's a pretty interesting effect that we have there. There's a green screen on my glasses. Like you can see through my head. Like nothing's in there. All right, cool. All right. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just talk about some stuff. You guys know how we do it around here. But first, turn down your volume because it's going to get weird.
Do not like or comment on any of my videos, and please do not subscribe.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It's the Hex chart. You guys are familiar with this thing. For some of you, it's the source of an enormous amount of pleasure. For some of you, it's the source of an enormous amount of pain. Which one of you feel bad about this chart? Which one of you, which one amongst you feel good about this chart? Well, we just take this day by day, folks. We're going to check and see what happens here. Right now, we are in a holding pattern. That's 100% what's happening. There's not people that want to make moves right now. They think that price is going to go lower. They think that they're going to be able to purchase lower. So they're just waiting it out until that news comes. The question of the day becomes, though, you got to stay one step ahead of these whales. The question is, do these whales know that people are going to be buying it up like crazy? Buying it up like crazy when this Pulsechain news launches? Are they going to dump price? Right? Buy the rumor, sell the news? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? What's your plan here? Tell me in chat. I'm curious. What do you guys plan on doing here? You think Hex is going to go down about 3 cents again? Just above that, I guess. 0.0379. Who knows? Who knows? Let's check it out. The first thing that I would like to see happen, if we're in any type of bullish situation whatsoever, which right now, folks, there's just a reality out there. And the reality is we are in a rough macroeconomic environment. That is the reality. All right. And you need to accept that as the reality. Even Hex is not immune to these types of forces. Quite honestly, I think the macroeconomic situation is only going to get worse. Right. So let's see. We'll see what happens here. If not for anything else, this is just, it's great opportunity to buy. If we have to sit in the situation for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, etc., whatever the case may be. Let me just say this too. I know a lot of you guys showed up here for the thumbnail, and here's my opinion on what's going on with Pulsechain. And this is the only, other than Richard straight up telling us earlier that there were going to be, 2 instances he said it was going to be mid-May, and that kind of went by the wayside. The question becomes like, why? Why is that gone by the wayside? I think that there was some type of reality that maybe he came to about how important this documentary is going to be to the broader message and to the movement here. So I think, in my opinion, I believe that maybe we've had a slowdown in launching based on the fact that he's cooperating more with the highest of stakes folks. That's really what I think. All right. So when Pulsechain, well, I find it kind of encouraging that they are beginning to show Richard bits and pieces of finished footage. Right? He on Twitter they mentioned that Richard was going to watch some of those scenes, so that's pretty neat too. I would estimate that Richard is in Iceland, and maybe even Richard's coming to the States. Wouldn't it be cool if he was going to launch Pulsechain in the States and did one of those things where, last minute, hey guys, I'm going to be in New York City, or I'm going to be in Miami, or I'm going to be somewhere. You can meet up with me. We can launch Pulsechain together. That'd be kind of neat. But Iceland is a hop back to the States. So it's kind of in the middle there. Not in the middle, but it is a hop back this way. Wonder if he's making his way out this way. Wonder if the film crew's following him because they want to catch this Pulsechain launch. I would say, if you want to know when Pulsechain is going to launch, pay attention to the highest of stakes documentary team. And when they start announcing that they're pulling out, that might be a pretty good indicator of Pulsechain launching. So if you're looking at the description of this live stream, Pulsechain maybe. I think that's the most solid thing that we've had up until this point. So I'm going to check chat here, see how many people are bitching, moaning, and complaining about me talking about this. But I will say this, I have no clue. That's deductive reasoning. We'll see if it plays out. And if it does, maybe in the next 2 weeks or so, maybe less than 2 weeks, maybe 10 days, maybe we can get some sort of launch. That would be pretty neat, I think. But I will say this too. It's going to turn on a dime. All this bearish sentiment out there, everybody just in the doldrums, everybody just disappearing off the face of the map. It can all change just like that. And it will change just like that. And you guys are going to see it. So don't go and put something out there that's stupid and you're going to be embarrassed here in about 2 weeks when things start getting crazy. Just don't do it. Just think about it. Be wise. All right, Godfather J6, sick babies, no fun, but Ragstream helps. I don't know. Make sure the baby can't hear me. That could be a problem. Red Squirrel, evening, ladies. Daniel Jenny, best intro in town. Finbear says, all the good dudes in here. Bugs, what up, fam? Crypto Blues. Yeah. Outstanding intro is sick. Valiant Brand, hell yeah, Godfather. Beastman in town. What is up? Trap Gravity. Uh-oh, Trap. What's up, Trap? Trap just got his wrench. Can you guys believe that? He's been with me since the start. Hope everyone is having a great day. Ready for some R2R. You spelled the word some wrong. Just need to point that out. It's actually disgusting, and it's a very simple word. Can't believe you misspelled it. It's always after dark with Rags. I actually love that. Pulsechain chainer at the gym. Let's go get it. Yep. Teach me how to bear chat. Well, you teach me how to Dougie. How about that? Hex Island Boy. Speaking of how to Dougie, what is up? Huh. Am I also quality control? I am the QC. Cot G says, this intro looks like it was made by a ginger who watched a video on how to make an intro. Imagine that. Mego Art. What is up? DJ Cryptomatic in the house. Outstanding. So let's kind of move on here. Let's talk about some things. What's going on in the world? Now, unfortunately for some of you, this isn't really going to apply to you because you're not in the States. But for the folks who are in the States, we can kind of dive into this a little bit. All right. So want to give you guys an update on student loan cancellation. Have you guys heard about this? Has it been hitting the media? Well, Guys, midterm elections are coming due here in November. So the political party in charge right now is going to do everything possible to keep you around, to keep you energized, right? And they've concocted a very interesting scheme. So we're going to go over that scheme. Student loan cancellation. Here are the details. And this is moving forward, folks. This looks like this could be something that gets passed by September. If you make less than $150,000 as a single person, or if you make less than $300,000 combined if married, you will receive $10,000 in student loan cancellation. Okay, per person. 41 million Americans currently have student loan debt. 41 million. Okay. 10,000 of student loan forgiveness would completely pay off 13 million American student loan debt. Right? Cool. 41 million people in debt. $10,000 of student loan forgiveness would completely pay off 13 million American student loan debt. For 8 million Americans more, it would be cut by 50% or more. $10,000 of student loan cancellation would cost $240 billion. Interesting. $240 billion. To put that in perspective, the first round of stimulus for the United States was about $300 billion. $300 billion. How's that make you feel in chat? Some of you guys might have student loan debt. Might be, you might get wiped out. Your debt might get wiped out, rather. How does that make you feel? If your debt gets wiped out, are you going to vote Democrat for the midterm elections? Is that what this ploy is? So the question becomes, if they're so serious about wiping out inflation, if they're so serious about getting the national debt under control, why are they doing things like this? Why? Does this sound as crazy to you as it does to me? Sounds absolutely crazy, man. Let's check here. Let's check chat. Richard has deliberately dropped hex price with orchestrated Rackham FUD to drop hex price, which in turn might prevent hex pump and dump after next pulse launch. Interesting theory. As long as RH leaves those moon shoes at home, he is welcome. If he brings them, someone should step on them. Says Aaron Hungate. Elijah Christian. He has to launch before wallet sack. Ease chill. We're in the middle of a pretty compelling story. Guys, you ever stop to think that we are actually part of this storyline? That all of this FUD that's happening on Twitter, what if you find out that your public tweet makes it to the highest of stakes movie? What if you said something embarrassing, something that you regret, and then millions and millions and millions of people across the world see it at launch, and then you end up closing your Twitter account one day? Be interesting. Boredom has a huge bearing on everything. You were right about that. Idle hands, idle minds. Janet Yellen, nice of you to join, Janet. You came in earlier too. I had a vasectomy, so I'm used to leaving it in. Thank you, Janet. Really appreciate that. JB, I don't think people would mind waiting if he was open and honest, not flexing, saying he don't work for us. He talks so much about other projects. He needs to be 100%. Thin Bear, Pulse Debater. The liquidity is so thin, it only takes a few grand to drop the price. Same goes for buys. Doesn't take much to pump it. Still not a ball, Rags. Roger. Hex Huddle. Pulse Debater, your nickname sounds like you only put in your... Okay. Whoa, there we go. Jewel of the Nile. Hi. Interview Gunther, please. Gunther is, he's pushing. He's getting the attention right now. That's very obvious. He's very active. Stimulate us. No stimulation. Student loans are very pleb. Interesting. Huh. Airdrop? What airdrop? Conditionally or unconditionally? What are the conditions? Are you talking about student loan debt? I don't know. This is the sexist majority of student loans are held by women. It's extremely unfair. Ooh, interesting, Katji. Interesting. So now, not only can they say that this is going to help Americans, but if 50% of the student loan debt is helped by women, that's going to really, or held by women, that's really going to energize the base, because too many women are being oppressed by student loan debt. Nice angle. I like that. All right. Gay Pride Month, everybody. Don't forget that. Important. Hello. What's up, man? Rags Riches, did you hear PLSD Alpha and Crypto Heartbeat yesterday with Gunther? Caused huge pump in price. Yeah. What is it, like 30 or 40% of supply is held by a very, very small amount of wallets. You got a very low token supply in general, probably low liquidity. Yeah, I mean, that's a token that could be worth a lot. It's that unit bias, right? Very, very low supply, like 5 million on each chain, maybe 10 million total. Question is, why would somebody dump free tokens? That stuff could run. They should just do an airdrop of USDC. Bobby Hexarod, go Brandon. What's up? Finn Bear says, hey, I got an idea. How about not making debt to go to school, refuse to pay? Well, Rags does not have the ability to pump anything. You were right about that. So it's an interesting situation here, right? How do you feel if you were one of those people who paid off your student debt already? The Biden administration right now is bribing the American public to try to keep any sort of semblance of power in the midterms because they are afraid. Make no mistake, they are afraid about the midterms. The American public is fed up. Many sides of the aisle are fed up. Right? And it's different this time. We're just not saying this for the hell of it. It's a little bit different. So is that fair? Is that fair? I don't know if it's fair, man. I don't like it too much. It's wildly inflationary. And for the people who already paid it off, where's their credit? They're not going to get it. This is a bribe. This is a bribe to the American people to try to keep Democrats in power. It's a checkbox. It's energizing the base. It's blatantly obvious that that's what they're doing. They do not care, based on their actions, of worrying about the national debt, of worrying about inflation. They're about to spend $300 or $240 billion to pay off student debt for 40 million Americans. Okay. Yep, we're sacrificing the short term for the long term, or the long term for the short term. That's the problem. All right. Next, speaking of actions that do not make sense, let's talk about this. Child tax payments. They're trying to pass another stimulus. The deadline for the negotiations for the stimulus was Memorial Day. It's come, it's gone, right? They're about to go on vacation. They're going to come back. They want to get this passed by August 8th, I believe. So what is this all about? Well, there's two options here. I'm just going to go over the primary option. The first option is child tax payments, new stimulus. All right, so what's this look like? You will receive $350 a month. Moving forward, if you have a child under 6 years of age, $350 per child, $350 a month per child. You will receive $250 a month per child, 7 to 17. So $350 for 6 and under, $250 for 7 to 17 years old. every single month. And we are crazy. We are crazy about getting everything under control, getting this under control, that under control. Again, they have to pass this. They want to pass this to make the midterm elections something that's actually viable. They don't care. They don't care about the country. They care about power. It's blatantly obvious. They don't play a game of responsibility. They play a game of power. And you have to look at their actions instead of looking at their words. So potentially, right, that's going to be an enormous amount of money. That's going to be a massive amount of money moving forward in the future, right? So not only that, here in the next couple months, potentially, let's just say $300 a month on average per family, per child. And not only that, they're going to erase $240 billion of student loan debt. Does that show you that they're serious? Does that show you that they're serious about getting the economy under control? Hell no, they're not. They're not going to do it. You know what else is on this ballot? Climate change, right? So they want to get this money by coming up with climate change initiatives, tax credits, etc., to decrease our dependence on fossil fuels. They also want to raise taxes on the wealthy. They want to pay for all this by raising taxes on the wealthy. They got to pay their fair share. If I got to hear that one time, I'm going to smack somebody. All right. They want to increase funding to social programs, which means they're going to spend more of your money with no return. They're going to lower the national debt this way. They want to decrease prescription drug prices by taking over the drug market and having government officials negotiate. President Biden actually met with the chair of the Fed, the Federal Reserve, and we did not hear much about it. Now, here's what's interesting. The Federal Reserve and the government, the executive branch of the government, well, any branch, they're supposed to be separate. So why is Biden meeting with them? All right. So he comes out of this press conference and Biden says, I'm not going to interfere with the Fed. That's all he says. So he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't talk. I mean, you want to talk about the president of the United States meeting with the Federal Reserve chairs. Interesting. All right. I wonder, this is interesting. Why did he say that? I'm not going to interfere with the Fed. You shouldn't be allowed to be interfering with the Fed in the first place. I find that kind of interesting. All right. How's President Biden going to fight inflation? Well, here's his plan. He wants to, allow the Fed to do the job of fighting inflation because they're doing such a good job. We've got discretionary monetary policy, and they keep getting it wrong every 10 years, every 15 years, over and over and over again. If you're a kid and you've grown up, if you're like an 80s baby or even going back further, it's like, this is normal. Why does this have to be normal? This has to be normal because there's no constitution when it comes to our economy. This is just hoping that the one guy is smarter than the next guy, right? Whoever gets in control of the Fed, we just hope he's smarter than the last guy. We hope that he makes better decisions. And it's just like, let's just wing it. Let's just see what happens with this. We are the guinea pig. The Federal Reserve is now rugging the American economy. That's what's happening because they have to slow down inflation, because they have to pump it up and then they got to slow it down. It's not pretty, folks. Not pretty at all. And some reports came out today that I'm going to share with you guys tomorrow that are pretty frightening as well. And you're seeing this pattern. You're seeing this pattern of politicians and the media saying, hey, it's okay until some significant numbers come out. Then they have to say, well, we didn't expect that, but this is what's happening, but it's still going to be okay until new information comes out. And then they backtrack and they say, well, we didn't expect those last two things, but it's still going to be okay. They are trying everything they could possibly do right now to last until midterm elections so they can get every single last one of those votes, and they're going to dump all these problems on the next Congress. They don't care about us. They don't care about you guys. That is the bottom line. So what's the next thing he wants to do to try to fight inflation? He wants to lower the price of gasoline. He wants to release oil from strategic oil reserves, and he's bragging about how he's been doing that. The oil that he's been releasing from these oil reserves lasts probably literally like a half a day, and it does not increase the overall burden of the economy right now. There's actually a hurricane that's about to run into the Gulf right now. Can you imagine what's going to happen when those refineries get taken out? Can you imagine what's going to happen to the cost of oil? Perfect storm scenarios, perfect storm situations. Let's see what happens here. All right. Change the tax code. So first, he wants to allow the Fed to do the job of fighting inflation. Second, he wants to lower the price of gasoline by releasing oil from strategic oil reserves, but not allowing oil companies to drill, right? Because there's a huge demand right now, but God forbid we do that. We get all these greenies all over us here. And third, what's he want to do? Change the tax code to make people wealthy. To make people wealthy. Yeah, some people. To make wealthy people pay their fair share. So that's the key here. Allow the Fed to do what it's always been doing, which is screwed us over and over and over and over again. Okay, we'll allow the Fed to help us out here. Lower the price of gasoline, which is BS. Okay, and then change tax code. Make wealthy people pay their fair share. So that begs the question here. Actually, you know what? Let's check chat here. I want to check chat. You guys, I'm going to say this too. We called this a couple months ago. We said gasoline prices across the United States going to go to $6-7 on average. That means gas prices in California, if not already, they're going to go up to about $10 per gallon. You guys ready for that? You guys ready for that? $9-10 per gallon gas in California. Get ready, it's coming. Or you can also just use ethanol, just destroy your motor over time. That's also a good option. I'm embarrassed that Biden is our president. Richard's country plan is sounding better by the day. Looks like I'm going to be getting a Baycoin airdrop, y'all. Stimulus and paying off student loans is buying votes. It's a reflection of communism. This Cuban American knows that story well. Don't be fooled. Humberto Gonzalez in sunny South Florida. It is, man. It's a play out of the playbook. They don't care about responsibility. They care about power. That's it. Care about power. It's a shame. It's a freaking shame. Democrats or Republicans of power, doesn't matter. We're all after either way. Yep. It's horrible, guys. This is why we have to do something about it, but we're just not going to do anything about it until it gets really, 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 really bad. Our tolerance for pain is really, really high, I think, because we are so far from actually being in pain. We are a really cush society. The Western world is at this point. $40 billion to Ukraine. And guess where that money's going? In Hex. In California, they are paying me to go to community college. Free money. Hey, man, they're going to be paying you. You might as well get it. Only David Feeder paid his student loan. Yeah, that should be a good question. We should get Feeder on. Be like, bro, you paid your student loans off. If only you had held. You could have put that $10,000 in Pulsechain. How does that make you feel? Oh, gosh. Rags only pumps himself up in front of a mirror. Dude, all my mirrors are broken. You know that. Let's check here. Rags, you hear about Nancy Pelosi's husband getting arrested for DUI? Yep, I did. I also heard that Nancy Pelosi has not participated in a debate for office since the late 70s. I haven't verified that, but I find that pretty interesting. Sandy Beach, I paid my student loans off too. Yeah, you're a pharmacist, if I'm not mistaken, Sandy Beach, right? Mike Hayden says, we've been paying the average price of $9 a gallon in the UK with little complaint until recently. With little complaint? Now, is it $9? All right, so here's the question. $9 for gas? How much is diesel? How much is diesel in the UK? Right? Because the European Union, there's a lot of diesel vehicles out there, I believe, because they mandated it. Like 20% of passenger cars are. I paid off my student loan a long time ago, about $12K. Yeah. See? Today, no funding of Hex. I fall in line and be a God Hexagon. Hallelujah. Jewel of the Nile. Paying off loans is part of the Great Reset. Higher again. Problem is right now we're having to give oil to the UK. We're going to have to give oil to Europe right now until they can figure out their supply issues. And that's due to Russia being how Russia is, especially diesel. We're having to get diesel because Russia cuts you guys off. So you guys need to get it from somewhere. You're getting it from the East Coast right now. East Coast is supposed to be beginning to ration diesel this summer at some point. If we can't get into the ground and tap in. I never got student loans because I can barely read. Whoa, Norway, $22 a gallon. Gosh, no wonder people friggin' ride scooters and bikes everywhere, man. Always has been expensive for petrol gas, as we call it in the UK. Now, why is that? It doesn't have to be, but why is it? Why do you guys think that is? So, I don't know. It's freaking crazy out here, man. Let's talk about this too. All right. All this crazy stuff happening all around the world. Biden is giving us tax credits left and right. Here's a quick question for you guys. Do you guys participate in 401ks? If you're in the States, do you participate in 401ks? Let's talk about this. This is bankOnYourself.com. are 401k scams. I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple things, and I know a lot of you do participate in these, and a lot of you overfund your 401ks unknowingly. Now, remember, this is financial opinion. I barely graduated high school. You probably shouldn't be listening to me, but let's make some points here. All right, so 401k, the tax deferral scam. In our immediate gratification society, deferring your taxes by funding your 401k sounds so good, doesn't it? But when the tax man eventually comes calling, he won't ask you to pay what your tax liability would have been if you'd been paying taxes all along. He'll tell you what your tax liability is at the time of your taxes being due. You guys hear that? If you read any tax book, if you read, retirement investment book, etc., this is a big problem. The federal government is saying that, hopefully taxes in the future are going to be lower. Do you guys truly think in the States that taxes are going to be lower in 30 years than they are now? With all the social programs that we have, with all of these unfunded liabilities, with the massive amount of inflation and the massive amount of government debt, where do you think they're going to get that money? They're going to start at the top. They're going to ask people to pay their fair share. It's going to trickle down. So imagine this. Imagine that right now you're paying your tax bracket right now is 22%. Okay, 22%. Do you think that in 30 years, after you saved up $1 million, that your tax bracket's still going to be 22%? Or do you think legislators in that time frame are going to change things to get more money from their people? Do you know what some of the highest tax brackets were in the past 70 years? 90% plus. Did you guys realize that? What if you do well? What if you make it big? What if you're in a higher tax bracket? Then what if they up that higher tax bracket? So instead of paying 30, 40% taxes at the highest tax bracket, maybe you're paying, 70% in the future, because we have a tyrannical, authoritarian, socialist economic structure in the future, which it sure does seem that we're barreling towards that pretty strong. So that's one point to be made about tax deferral 401ks, right? Doesn't make any difference whether the taxes are taken away from you at the beginning, before you put the money in the savings vehicle, or at the end, tax deferred. It's the same fraction of your money that is left to you. Now, if tax rates are lower in the future, you will come out ahead. However, most people, including most financial experts, believe tax rates must head higher, not lower, over the long term. And you could be retiring here in the next 20, 30 years. We've got 62 million Americans using Social Security, using Medicare. By 2045, 140 million, twice as many. Baby boomers and Gen Xers will be over 65, requiring Social Security, Medicare. Where do you think the money for that, to pay for that, comes from? Well, we've seen the answer thus far. To pay for all this stuff, they want to tax the people. Taxes go up, 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 up. Very interesting here. Reason number 2, the 401k employer match free money scam. The Center for Retirement Research did a study based on tax data and found that for every dollar an employer contributes to your 401k match, they pay 90 cents less salary. Translation: that means your employer is essentially pulling money out of your paycheck to contribute to your 401k. And you're really netting pennies, not dollars, in matching funds. That doesn't really sound like such a good deal, now does it? Well, of course that makes sense. Of course that makes sense. It's going to be, that cost is going to come back to you, and that's exactly what's happening. And people don't ever talk about 401ks that way. They don't ever talk about is a 401k a good option? Just hearing these one or two things here, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Reason number 3. Wow, this is huge. I forgot what Tony Robbins' finance book was. What is? Let me look it up. Hold on. I read this, and this is what really opened my eyes. Among some other things, kind of sent me down a rabbit hole. Tony Robbins' finance book. It is... Dang. What is it? Come on now. Money, master the game. 7 simple steps of financial freedom. So what's the deal with this book? Here's what he says. All right. And actually, I'll just read directly from here so it makes sense here. Fees devour up to half of your hard-earned money in 401ks. Well, what do you mean by that? In spite of the rules passed a few years ago requiring better 401k fee disclosures, surveys show most participants still have no clue how much they're actually paying. But according to Brightscope, participants in small plans pay between 1.5% and 2% in fees annually. Wow. And participants in the largest plans pay nearly 1% every year. Now, I know what you guys think. Like 1.5%, 2% in fees, 1%, that just doesn't sound too bad, does it? Does that really sound too bad? Well, let's think about it. So let's say you average 1 to 2% in fees. If you have $100,000 in your 401k earning 7% a year over 35 years, how much are you going to lose to fees? $300,000, $400,000, and $528,000. So with a 1% annual fee, you have lost 28.8% of the money that you could have made, with totaling $307K. If you have a 1.5% annual fee, you have 40% lost, which is about $427,000. The 2% annual fee, you have 49.5% loss, totaling $528,782, right? Then this also begs the question. Let's talk about this too. What does the 401k actually do? It gives a lot of people exposure to the stock market. But when you see stats like this, when you see stats that show that people are getting just raked over the coals with fees, and not only that, that money goes to the stock market to make a lot of other people rich too. It seems like the 401k is basically a really tricky way to funnel hardworking, middle class, lower class people into the stock market to make other people rich. That's really what this kind of looks like. Freaking crazy, man. Because without the 401k and these investment plans, Wall Street's not going to have as much access. They're just not. Reason number 4, funding a 401k is like putting your money in prison. It's like a trade with the devil. Give me all your savings in return for tax deferral, a scam as we've seen. And an employer match, another scam. And I'll keep it under lock and key until you're 59.5 years old. You have to beg for permission to use your own money. There's all kinds of restrictions and penalties for accessing your own money. Yeah, I know. The idea is they don't want you to spend your retirement savings before you retire. All right. Really? Really, guys? Is that what it is? Are they trying to force you to delay gratification? I do not trust these people at all. I do not trust that that's what's happening. They want the markets to be stable. They don't want to run on the markets. They want to keep that price up. That's what they're doing. They want to scare people who just don't know any better. And let's face it, people don't know what 401ks are until they have to know at the end of the retirement. Reason number 5, the myth of market returns. Most of the money in 401k is invested in mutual funds. You're told that over the long term, you can do well in the stock market. But over the last 20 years, the average equity mutual fund investor has earned only 4.25% per year, beating inflation by only 2.1% per year, and now not beating inflation at all. You've got negative rates now. Ooh, that hurts. Yet Wall Street has brainwashed us into believing we must risk our money in order to get any type of decent returns. And so we continue to blindly fund our 401ks like lemmings following each other off a cliff. Ooh, that's freaking brutal, man. Freaking brutal. You got to do your own research. I don't even know what this looks like in the UK. I don't know what this looks like anywhere else. But, when you start learning about the economic system in America and how it's just leeching off of people, you got to question how come administrations aren't attacking things like the 401k? That's where the real theft is happening. Spread out against a much larger swath of the population. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Let's check chat. Let's see what everybody says. DJ Cryptomatic says Germany around $8 per gallon at the moment. I'd ask the diesel question. Salmon. All right, today no fudding of Hex. I fall in line. See, Salmon, I'm glad. But again, maybe you should FUD Hex, man. It creates better engagement in my channels when you FUD Hex. Maybe I could pay you, man. Just pay you like a flat rate USDC to FUD my channels. Just stir people up. How's that sound? That's going to be clipped one day. They're going to be like, look at this furu. Look at this scammer. Hire again. All right. 1.76 pounds. Okay. We cut ourselves off from the supply. That too. Diesel price in Belgium is 2.3. Okay. 1 liter. Wow. Diesel. So diesel is cheaper than gas. Is that what I'm seeing? Germany about $8 per gallon at the moment. Yeah, 1.83 diesel per liter. Yeah. Not anymore. I'm rolling over. Now, diesel is more expensive in the States than gasoline, right, guys? I'm in a 401k. It's tanking. Dude, get ready. Get dollar cost average. What's up, Big Black? I believe that the Roth is one of the greatest invented tools outside of crypto. Roth is powerful. I got approached by a guy from the union. Now I'm a tradesman. Told him where to shove it. Commie sheet. Oh, now that you're a tradesman. Yeah. This is how it goes. Lower taxes. The problem is it's going to take 20 or 30 years of people growing up in this broken system for the pendulum to be able to swing the other way, folks. That's just the bottom line. It's unfortunate. I remember when they brought in 401k guy at my work. He estimates by time I retire, I could have $56,000 saved up. Told him to blow me, and I invested in crypto. It's crazy, man. And people are still doing it. They just don't know. They just haven't learned. You need to learn this stuff. Let me think. Here's a good book. This is a great book if you guys want to get into it. And in fact, here's what I'll do. Let me create a referral link. You can use the referral link. I get paid like 50 cents if you guys want, but it pumps my algorithm if I put it in here. You can use this referral code if you guys want. Copy, and I'll paste it in. All right. The Power of Zero, revised and updated. How to get to the 0% tax bracket and transform your retirement. The whole point of retirement is get to the point where you don't have any tax liabilities. That's what's going to destroy you. So this is a book that I recommend you checking out. Check this out. It's got some really, really good ideas. Talks about tax buckets and all that. It's just fundamental. You got to know it. I'll put the link in chat here too. So there's the link in chat. And then right after this, I'll put the link in the description. Can we stop giving Biden credit for any of this? As much as all this sucks, it actually requires a modicum of intelligence to orchestrate it all. Joe's just a useful idiot. He's standing on the tip of the iceberg. All the work that's been done to FUD and screw Americans and the world in general, all that work is underneath the surface of the water. It's a huge, huge, huge body of work too. Huge body of work. Only used around $8 because of the 30-cent discount for this month. Okay. Putin's going to fix everything. Thanks, Hexhodl. My wife and I have a Roth IRA 401k. A Roth and no 401k. It's been that way for 10 years. It's better that way. Archie S., they need to pay for their fourth industrial revolution. A 401k here's the thing. Don't overfund your 401k. Only put as much money in there as they're going to match it. All right. And then try to negotiate for a higher salary. In your head, you can negotiate for that extra bump that you're putting in. So always take that in account. But don't put more money in there than your if your employer's not matching, it's not freaking worth it to you, man. You don't know what these tax rates are going to be in the future. To put your money somewhere else. From yesterday, in my financial opinion, again, barely graduated high school. Don't listen to me. Did I miss the Pulsechain stuff? Yes, you missed it. It's at the beginning. I did at the beginning. Dehexing says, I love how they tax your income and then they give you capital gains on your investments when you already paid tax on it to invest in the first place. This can't fly forever, man. Is it going to take 100 years for people to wake up? Another 100? Is it going to take 200? I don't know. People need to get rolling on this. People need to learn. We'll see. Mr. Rafferty says, Rags, hope you got that training. Of course, I got that training in today. Of course, in the morning, a.m. The left wing and right wing are both from the same bird. You are right about that. A game of power. A game of power, power, power. I'm going to build a Bob Lazar hydrogen car. Okay. You want to get shot. That's what that means. I've looked into self-directed IRA to use crypto. Looks pretty good. Guys, do the research on your own. Do the research on your own. Start reading that book and then look at the other books that they recommend. And there's just so much power in that. What else do you have to do? You're not doing anything. Put it on the back of your toilet. Read a chapter every time you go do number 2. Come on now. Good-ish to Hexagons qualifying for outside DeFi airdrops. Bring that capital into Hex. Yep. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, it's about that time. I'm going to cut this thing off in about 2 minutes. If you guys have any pressing questions or issues, feel free to chat with me. And otherwise, I'm going to bounce on out of here because I got calls. I got another stream tonight. I think I'm streaming with old Thoth's Child tonight about 10 p.m. Eastern. That should be interesting. Terrafin, you low down dirty son of a gun, knowing what you do. Sandy Beach in the house. John May says, I meant Iraq. You mean Chirac? Spinning or not spinning? I haven't the slightest. What context you are referring to here? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, very, very important. Yeah, these just fundamental stuff. We got to figure it out. We got to know it. We got to know it, folks. Fiber Finance, giving me the nod there. Good stuff as always. Well, he'd call me out if I was saying some wrong stuff, I'm sure. He does this for a living. They do this for a living. $3.25 here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's about to happen. I should be putting my 401k money in PLS or PLSX, correct? I refuse to answer that. Watch some streams. Watch some streams here. Guys, it's about to get loud. Turn your volume down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye.